Welcome to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Circle, the simple and AI-powered rewards and recognition platform for employee engagement.
The landscape of recruitment is constantly changing, and businesses face a multitude of challenges when it comes to finding and retaining top talents. In the next few minutes, we'll delve into these challenges and explore innovative strategies and solutions to strive in the race for exceptional talents. Hello listeners, you are tuned into the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. I'm your host Sushmita. In today's episode, we have an exciting discussion ahead as we delve into the ever-evolving landscape of talent acquisition. Our conversation will encompass a wide spectrum ranging from the future of hiring to the evolving phase of entrepreneurship in the hands of the future workforce. But first, let's get to know our guest a bit better. Joining us is Eric Lee, the co-founder and CEO at KarmaCheck. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant, Eric. So before we dive into the fascinating questions that we have lined up for today, I'd love to start by asking you, what's keeping you busy and excited these days?
Oh, there's a lot of change, happening in the work environment. And so it's been pretty interesting, keeping up with the changes and the innovations and, trying to figure out, what is the future of work. So in this kind of post-pandemic world, lots of things have changed.
And drawing from your extensive experience at some prominent, giants, technology giants, such as co-founding LinkedIn, it's a huge thing, and creating Hub, then KarmaCheck. Could you elaborate on the key insights that you have gained and how these experiences have influenced your approach to launching your own ventures?
Yeah, great question. I think one of the things that technology companies have been known for is really kind of innovating on the culture of work and the way that work is going. And so as technology workers have been hard to attract historically, and so the employers must really try their best to offer various ways to motivate workers and keep them at their workplaces and things like that. So I think the tech company could be a model of innovative work practices in the culture, and that continues, I would say, after the pandemic as well, which we kind of find our new world. So I think for me, as someone who's on the employer's side, we try to really, look at new practices, new ways of working, and all those things that are being impacted in the work culture, today.
Yeah, so those things are the driving force, we can say, behind your decision to become an entrepreneur. And but we'd like to know if you can highlight some of the most formidable challenges that you have encountered during the early stages of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that comes to mind is that there's definitely been different generations of workers that go through the workforce, and perhaps most recently you see the Gen Z workers really coming into the workforce. And of course, I've seen this and experienced this personally. They have a very different set of priorities than previous generations.
Altogether a different way of working.
Yeah, I mean, they value flexibility. They value their personal time, and they also value learning, because they are starting out in their careers, and so learning is very important for them.
Yeah. So talking about challenges, most aspiring entrepreneurs grapple with the initial hurdles, and your insights would be invaluable in shedding light on this transformative phase. So from your perspective, Eric, what are the most pressing challenges that businesses face today in the realm of recruitment and talent acquisition?
Well, yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk, recently. I think CEOs trying to get workers back into the office. As the pandemic has was just a couple years ago, and so that really caused a lot of folks to have to work from home, especially if they didn't need to show up at the office to work on things. They could do it from home, and now that a lot of time has passed, I think CEOs have felt that it's time to get people back in the office for some valid reasons, to help people be more productive, to help them learn, provide mentorship. And it really is a challenge for, I think, a lot of employers, who have to deal with employees who have gotten used to the advantages of, working from home and remote work. And so I think that's a, pretty big topic these days at companies.
Mm-hmm. And if you talk about solutions, speaking of innovative solutions, I'd like to spotlight KarmaCheck and its role in tackling these hiring and recruitment obstacles. Could you provide our listeners with an overview of what KarmaCheck is all about and how it addresses some of these challenges?
Yeah, I'd be happy to cover that. I think one of the things to realize is that the world is always moving forward, so it's hard to go back to the way things were with maybe people working 5 days a week in the office, 9 to 5, and I think we're heading towards more of a either a purely remote work kind of culture, which I think is kind of shocking to some, but maybe a more moderate approach, which is kind of a hybrid approach where people spend time working remotely, and then they also spend time certain days a week, especially when there's a reason to go in and have meetings and to collaborate, to show up in the office with other office workers. And at KarmaCheck, I think the way that we help is that we're seeing definitely the trend towards hiring people remotely, which is to say that a lot of times employers may not even meet the people in person that they bring onto their team, which is also, I think, a pretty shocking change. And so at KarmaCheck, what we do is we provide background checks and other kinds of verifications. And so that I think is becoming more important in this virtual world, especially if employers don't have a chance to meet with their employees before they get hired. And so a company like KarmaCheck can provide those verifications, such as assuring someone's identity, assuring their background, and they have the qualifications to do the job, without the employer being able to meet the workers that they hire, which is, I think, happening more and more these days.
Yeah, it's evident that with your wealth of knowledge, you can definitely provide some valuable guidance to organizations who are looking out to refine their talent acquisition strategies. So what actionable advice would you offer to the organizations seeking to enhance their hiring and recruitment processes, drawing from your experiences and expertise?
Well, with the new generation, I do believe there's definitely an interest around personalizing the experience for those workers, and I believe that there's all sorts of technologies these days that are coming onto the market that are really helping to create that personalized experience, but also doing it at scale, which is, I think, really valuable as well. So I would encourage employers and organizations to look at tools where they can really cater and bring on the talent that they need, because it is a competitive market out there. And so whoever has those tools and those processes to help bring on that great experience for candidates is really gonna win more than organizations that maybe rely on traditional methods that don't scale as much, but are also personalized.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the trends that are coming up in this whole field of hiring and recruitment. But before that, Eric, you are a co-founder of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn was, I think, founded in the year 2002, right?
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been a little bit more than 20 years ago. That's right.
Yeah. So you are one of the founding members, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That must be a great experience for you, isn't it? So would you like to, tell
Yeah, I
something?
mean, I think
Yeah.
LinkedIn was one of the first, wave of companies that really tried to, bring, some innovative ideas and technology to the
Mm.
world of recruiting. And again, kind of this theme around doing it at scale. And so I think we try to, see what we try to deliver what was possible in terms of the use of technology. And I think that really helped to transform the HR and recruiting landscape. And I do believe that, going in the future, there's going to be, even more opportunities, such as AI to, help improve the recruiting and hiring onboarding experience for organizations.
Yeah. And if we talk about the future of hiring and recruiting, I think AI will make it to the top of the list.
It will. I think there's some really interesting areas that this AI technology could really help. So, for example, matching candidates with jobs and really getting much better at that, to really providing a two-way quality match between the employer and the candidate, I think is really going to be one of the exciting areas to watch for in the future. I think another area is really just kind of the whole onboarding experience and how that can be personalized, through automation and AI. Again, to provide a personalized experience, but also to do it at scale and to help ease the burden that recruiters have in bringing on board candidates. There's still a room for recruiters to focus in on those areas where machines don't do well, but it can certainly alleviate a lot of the burdens that come with the more kind of common scenarios that exist in recruiting.
Yeah, your perspectives are truly valuable, Eric. Thanks for the enlightening response. And before we wrap up this session, it would be great if you could share the best ways for our audience to stay connected with you and stay updated on your latest endeavors.
Well, LinkedIn is actually a great way because we definitely try to provide updates onto the feed on LinkedIn. So I hope people will find me there and choose to connect with me on the LinkedIn platform.
Thank you so much, Eric, for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today.
Thank you so much. That's great.
It has been truly an enlightening conversation. And to our listeners, if you found this discussion as captivating as I did, and if you want to connect with Eric or keep up with his work, please check the podcast description for links and contact details. Stay tuned for more such engaging conversations in our future episodes. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage HR Influencers Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.